has returned.
When developing MMOs, obviously you have different scope and breadth of what you can accomplish, and the difficulty comes in making the choices, right, and where the priorities are at. And one of the big things with Star Wars: The Old Republic was, evolutionizing the genre with bringing the quality storytelling and depth to the MMO space, which is a fundamental component to RPGs. Like getting invested in your character, making choices, getting invested in the characters surrounding your character, crafting your story, your saga, etc. So a lot of choices were made with that primary goal in mind. Obviously, there's some other features and things that we want to do and we want to see in there soon, but we had to make some choices of what we weren't able to get in by launch, but we're getting them in soon after launch. Like we've got the customizable UI, for example. PvP, there's a bunch of different stuff we want to do in PvP because players have been really responding to that and been participating in PvP a lot. And we want to do, an important component to that is competitive measure, and so we're introducing the ranked war zones in 1.2. The gray Jedi, as it were, the neutral morality, when I was speaking to earlier, we had to make choices of certain things that we didn't get into the launch in time, and that's one of them. I mean, that is something that we want to incentivize, and we do have plans with neutral morality. You're going to start seeing some of that stuff with the legacy system coming online, which we're able to talk about in the near future more. I can only get into so much detail on that right now. The auto-attack. So there's no auto-attack. There actually is an auto-attack. Surprise. It's called your companion character. They are your auto-attack. So in a PvE kind of questing storyline point of view, you do have your auto-attack. It's your companion character because you don't need to manage them. They can go automatically and just do their stuff, right? When you get into a PvP or some of the more heavily crafted combat situations, auto-attack, is it really necessary? Because all of those things are decisions. They're key decisions that are made. Whether you're in an operation or a flashpoint and you're dealing with a gameplay boss mechanics, or if you're in PvP, those are the key decisions that are made. Obviously, you can try to game an auto-attack type of system, but we felt it was part of more of that kind of visceral, engaged combat, and it'd be a good feel. Now, obviously, if we didn't get good feedback from it early in production, we might have changed the direction. But all the feedback and the player response to it going into it before production and stuff, especially, was very positive. A lot of these things we did know were going to, be issues in their own right, or people were going to be like, hey, I want this aspect, why isn't it in there? And it is just that, yeah, we're getting those in the game updates. Like, for example, we're working on cross-server queuing, and once we have the cross-server queuing in place, we're able to give players more options as to what they want to choose. I want to just only play this war zone, or I only want to play this war zone. The problem with doing it when you have a single server is that you then segregate the queuers so much that it affects everyone negatively in that there's less pops, right? Now, of course, the cross-server queuing has two sides of the coins. It spreads out the community. Not having it brings the community together. So we're still going to have systems in place to try to pull the community together. But the more preferences the player is going to select, the more it might have to reach outside of it to get the matchmaking. Now, as far as competitive PvP goes, you need to get outside of your server. When you want truly competitive PvP. Obviously, it's cool to be competitive within your server and be the top guy on the hill, king of the hill within your server. But when you want to get really competitive, you want a larger pool of players. So the cross-server queuing is going to get into the ranked war zones and things like that.